let's talk a little bit about what's going on. You know, there are House Republicans who want to start an impeachment inquiry of President Biden and his family. Kevin McCarthy has suggested that they're going to try to get the bank records for the Bidens, although there's no suggestion that that particular request has happened yet. And there you can see Joe Biden, you know, he's tight-lipped about this topic in particular. Yesterday, there was...
You can see his teeth a little on the bottom.
You can a little bit, but he's tight-lipped right there again.
Okay, that's true.
Yesterday, he was at FEMA headquarters talking about the response to the hurricane. And there were reporters traveling in the pool, and they did ask him about different things, like President Xi and the government shutdown and Mitch McConnell's health. But when it came to the question regarding bank records and the Biden family, how did he react? Let's see. Roll the tape.
President Biden, Speaker McCarthy, will you give your bank records to Congress?
Let's talk about why I'm here.
Will you give your bank records to Speaker McCarthy request?
Yeah, he laughed it off. You know, it's interesting, when all this stuff started coming out about the corruption, my husband, who was in Congress for 10 years, kept saying, this is very easy. These are forensic, you know, financial investigations. It's really easy. The data is there. Just follow the trail. And you can see that wherever the whistleblowers were trying to go down these trails, they were told they couldn't. If it involved Joe Biden, they were blocked from going down. That's what they reported. And now you see that, you know, it's going to take an impeachment threat in order for Joe Biden to turn over those records. And we still don't even know if he'll do it.
Think about this and contrast it with the taxes with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's taxes had nothing to do with running for president. And they just tried and got the taxes after he left off. All they would try to do is get his taxes. What we're trying to find out is nothing personal. We want to find out if during your time as vice president, maybe senator, if you were actually using your influence to make your family ridiculously rich. Now, we know millions of dollars went to Hunter, and he's now staying in somebody's garage that's blowing paint through a straw. So I'm not sure where the money went. But his attitude of laughing it off is not flying anymore. Remember, about 2 months ago, when asked, you know, about a transaction, he goes, where's the money? Almost daring you. Go find the money. Well, they're finding a lot of money, and they're finding a lot of emails, and emails of $4 million here, $5 million here, Romania, Ukraine, the Moscow mayor, and you got China. It's all there. And I think one thing that Comer's done is especially smart. It's not going for taxes. They're going for the bank accounts. And now the bank accounts are showing, and these dummy bank accounts are showing transactions that are taking place, and they're getting closer and closer to finding out. The question is, are the Republicans all on board for an impeachment inquiry? Because they have very little margin for error.
They're in shell companies. I mean, I don't have a shell company.
Not dummy bank accounts, dummy companies.
Yeah, there's dummy companies. There's shell companies. There's these dummy accounts that he's talking about. It's very easy to find this out if the Bidens would cooperate, because if they're innocent.
Right.
And again, this isn't just about making their family members rich. By the way, some of these companies are in the name of grandkids. It's really weird stuff, right? Things that don't happen in any of our normal families. But that said, it's not just that they're getting fabulously wealthy off of this. It's that Joe Biden now is the president of the United States, and he's doing business. He's had business, dirty deals and dirty money coming from companies and from countries from which we are enemies with, and of which there are a lot of implications for American policy. So he is potentially compromised. That is why this matters. It doesn't matter about Hunter Biden. What matters is Joe Biden. Is he compromised by the money he took? Did the money go to him?
Rachel, I think it does matter in this respect. If he's using his influence as vice president in order to do favors for his son's companies and his friends, and to think that his son's friend Devin Archer is going to see the Secretary of State. You see the communication between Anthony Blinken and Hunter. It seems like they're better friends than Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken are. And now you find that Eric Sherwin, who's got the money, is probably a few weeks away from testifying, and the thing ready to bring back Tony Bobulinski and tie it all together. So this is going to be really interesting to see what develops over there.
Right now the debate in Congress is whether or not they have to have a vote to start the inquiry, because right now Kevin McCarthy does not have 218 votes to proceed with an impeachment inquiry, and that's a problem because there are a lot of Republicans who would like to see that done. At the same time, unless Kevin McCarthy is able to start that, there are going to be a number of hardline conservatives who are going to say, okay, you're not good at this job. We're coming after you. So essentially, by saying saying we're going to open an inquiry, it keeps a lot of the Republicans off his back for now. The big question is, because he doesn't have the 218 at this point, it's because, I've talked to some members of Congress and I was reading some news reports today. They say that while there's a lot of stuff out there, and there are bank records, and in fact, the Republicans also want the manifest from Air Force Two to see how many times Hunter got on the big jet.
At least 15.
There are a number of Republicans who say, I haven't seen any evidence yet that the former vice president, now president, broke the rules, broke the law.
Because the National Archives, by the way, which put trigger warnings on our founding documents, is holding on to emails or giving them over so heavily redacted
only 5,000
that they're meaningless. Exactly, over 5,000. Thank you, Brian. And so this whole thing it smells to high heaven. The question I have isn't
it doesn't look good.
The question I have isn't how many Republicans are on board for impeachment. My question is about the patriotism of Democrats who aren't interested in finding out if their own president is compromised.
Right. Well, that's party politics. That happens every year.
Yeah, but sometimes things have to go above party politics. If your president is compromised by the communist Chinese government because his family took money
if that's provable, that is big.
And that's why it's important that Joe Biden, who says he's innocent, just released the
So the Republicans just need to make that case.
But that's why it's an inquiry, not an impeachment. They want to see, and that's what Nancy Pelosi did.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.